I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again. Tight quarters here in Brooklyn. We're making great progress. Today we're spending some time putting in some beautiful kitchen cabinets, solid cherry. Also, we're going to show you an in-depth approach to putting down marble tile the old-fashioned way, with a dry mix and then a thin set. And we're going to visit the Brooklyn Academy of Music's restored movie palace. Stick around. It's good to have you home again. We're starting off with Nick Tagios from Tagios Tile and Marble here in New York, and he's a busy guy right now because what he's prepping to do is a marble tile installation, a traditional old-style kind of mud job. And I'm not going to interrupt you just yet, Nick. So you're wetting down the area. You've got diamond mesh on top of felt paper over the plywood, and now you made a mess. This is what you call a dry mix, right?
That's a dry mix, yes.
Yeah. And this is sand in Portland?
Right. That's it.
So what we're doing then is using the marble tiles that have been cut, and so we're using them in a kind of rectangular format, and they'll be laid in what's known as a running bond, which you'll see in a minute. But these guys are used to working fast. How thick will that layer be?
This one here is going to start off with 3/4 of an inch, which I prefer, you know, at this point, it's okay. As we come up this way, it's going to be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
The floor is off level.
Oh, I see. Okay. How long you been doing this, Nick?
Started when I was 12 years old with my father on Saturdays and days off. Summers.
Yeah. I would have cracked it by now. You got...
It's all a touch.
Is all the touch, yeah.
Pack it in.
Clean as you go.
Yes.
Always a good rule.
Okay. Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
Make sure you pack it underneath. Give me the full. Right here. Where's your full that you put on? You have it? Okay.
So, Nick, this running bond pattern has really become popular in the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's the antique look.
It's the antique look, but everybody's specifying a running bond, and you can do it, obviously, with any size, tile or marble. These were, what, squares that you had to cut?
16 by 16. We cut it down to 8 by 16.
Mm-hmm. I think it looks very nice. Now, how do you figure the cost on this, on the installation?
You figure $6 or $7 a foot for installation.
Depends on whether you're having a lot of cuts to do and stuff?
Right.
Okay. And you got 3 or 4 more pieces left to do. When you're making this dry mix, is it always 50-50 or is it more sand than cement?
No, it's more sand than cement. It's like 3-to-1 mixture.
Now, Nick, the joints are so tight on this installation. Do you still need to grout?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Actually, I leave it the thickness of the trowel. Maybe that's like a 1/16. joint, and then you fill it up with white grout.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
Okay, we're getting very close to finish here. Now, Nick, do you have to put any kind of sealer on a marble tile floor like this?
No, it's not as porous as other stones.
Does it come with any kind of sealer already in it?
It's a polish that comes polished. So the polish itself acts like a sealer.
I meant to ask you, that's just a little striking hammer that you'd cut the handle off of, right?
Right.
Never seen anybody using that kind of a...
Oh, yeah?
It's a good way to tamp it.
Oh, yeah. An old timer taught me. My father.
Very steady. And then the last thing will be the threshold. When do you put that in?
After the door jamb itself has been put in.
Okay, well, it's a beautiful job, and you're a true craftsman. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Joining us now is Gam Danziger from Craftline Kitchen Cabinets. Where are you located?
Passaic, New Jersey.
Passaic, New Jersey. Wonderful. And so before we start talking about installation, let's talk about your cabinets themselves. Okay. These are beautiful, kind of contemporary cherry wood cabinets. And tell me about the construction.
It's a 3/4 plywood, pre-finished plywood cabinet. The construction is you have a 1/4-inch dado in the back. That's for the plywood back over here.
Is this furniture-grade plywood?
It is a furniture-grade plywood, which you'll see there are not many voids in the plywood itself, which makes for a very stable product.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about moisture getting in and warping things.
That's right. It's just more stable. It won't warp as much as
And
other.
it takes fasteners better.
That's correct. In here are furniture-grade dowels. There are dowels. It's doweled and glued at each joint.
So it's as sturdy as you can make a box. What about the drawer construction?
The drawer construction is the same. It's doweled and glued. There are no pins on the end.
No dovetail joints. It's all doweled.
It's not a dovetail, but it holds as well as a dovetail.
Yeah.
So there are 8mm dowels in there, wood dowels.
And then the face?
The face is solid cherry.
It is solid cherry.
Face is solid cherry, and you have stiles and rails of cherry on the doors.
These are actually slide outs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we'll have a garbage.
We'll have a 28.
What kind of sliding hardware is this?
It's a ball bearing, full extension, 150-pound rated slide.
Ball bearings, full extension, opens all the way out, and it's rated for 150-pound weight?
That's correct.
So if you got a teenager, they might jump on it, it's gonna hold up. Very, very nice. And then we've got, let's see, these are pieces for the island, and we've got these pieces already in place. What's the door construction like?
The door construction is solid cherry stiles and rails.
And what do you call this kind of panel
This is
door?
This is a reverse panel. So you have a flat panel, and the center panel is a reversed raised panel door. So you have
a reversed raised panel door.
Right, which makes for most center panels are only a 1/4 inch. This is a full 3/4 center panel, which is reversed, so that it gives you a solid wood.
Okay.
center.
Gam, what kind of hinges are these?
That's an Italian hinge. It's 6-way adjustable.
Wow.
Just in and out with this screw over here. It fastens for tightness here. It can be removed if necessary. For installation, we typically remove the doors, and we replace the doors afterwards and just pop them.
Oh, if that happens, then how do you put it back on?
It just snaps back in, and it holds.
And which is the screw that you use to...
The lock screw.
That's the lock screw on the back.
That's the lock screw on the back.
And then the other screws are just for adjusting?
The other screws are for adjusting. These screws will adjust up and down up to 1/8 of an inch.
And are they even? There's a little bit of a discrepancy here.
That's correct.
How would you adjust that?
That's an adjustment. Well, you look at the discrepancy and you see that this one has to come up and this one has to come in. So let's move this one out. So the cabinet will, the door will drop down and find your adjustment. This one can come up a little bit and be adjusted over.
Great. And all the interiors of the boxes allow for adjustable shelving in here, right?
That's correct. It's all
Yeah.
32mm adjustable holes.
All the way across. All right, well, these are the wall units, but we've got a kitchen island in here. And I guess the kitchen island is the piece we were just looking at, which has a drawer and the rubbish bin. And we've already found the mark on the floor,
That's correct.
which is the outer edge of it. What's the best way to attach these things to the floor, etc.?
Okay, the best way to attach this cabinet, most island cabinets, is we fasten a piece of 2x4 down that will sit underneath the cabinet.
All right, so let's get some blocks and put them there.
And we position the 2x4s within the inner wall of the cabinet.
Okay.
3/4 for spacer.
So that's a spacer.
That's a spacer because the wall of the cabinet is 3/4 of an inch. So we want to fall on the interior of the wall.
All right, now Gam, how are you going to fasten this box to that block?
I'm going to pre-drill this cabinet somewhat where this will line
I
up
see,
with
okay, you're going to make a pre-drilled hole. And that is below the bottom of the cabinet.
That's correct.
Within the showcase space. And then we simply lift it in.
To lift it in, we have marks that are marked over here.
And it's matched there, and then you just get down under there and drive the screws. Well, that's a good tip. Thanks, Gam. We're looking at a scrim that's covering all the scaffolding in front of the building which is known as BAM, the Brooklyn Academy of Music. This building is one of the most beautiful terracotta facades anywhere in America, and it's been undergoing restoration for the last year and a half. Let's go meet Karen Brooks Hopkins, who's the president of BAM. Karen, before we start talking about the building and the restoration, tell us about BAM.
Well, BAM is the oldest performing arts center in the country. It's actually the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Right.
And the original building was built on Montague Street in Brooklyn Heights in 1859.
And this building?
This building, 1908. The original burned to the ground at the turn of the century, and a committee of 100 citizens of Brooklyn raised the money to build this building here in Fort Greene. Now inside, we have a 2,000-seat opera house. We have a fourplex of movie theaters totaling 750 movie seats showing art and independent films. We have the BAM Cafe, which is also a cabaret-type space, and 2 rehearsal studios. And then a block away, we have the 850-seat BAM Harvey Theater.
So there's a lot here, but what I've always been attracted to is the fact that BAM brings in acts from all over the world.
BAM is the largest international presenter in the country and the largest presenter of contemporary work in music, dance, theater, and opera.
Right in the heart of Brooklyn.
Yeah, we do it all. We do it all.
Karen, tell us about this building, though. This is 1907, right?
1908, it
1908.
actually opened.
Yeah.
And this building is all terracotta. It's a great historic building. And of course, the renovation project involves not only these terracotta cherubs that you see here on the front of the building, but the whole building, the cornice. You know, the New York City winters have been pretty tough on this building, and we're thrilled to have an opportunity to really restore it and make it beautiful again. These guys are going to get their noses and fingers and everything repaired. The cornice is going to be restored, which is a monumental project, and I'm looking forward to introducing you to the architect.
Let's go. So, Karen, are we in the heart of Brooklyn or what?
We are in the heart of downtown Brooklyn. This is the Boulevard, Flatbush Avenue.
Yeah.
And BAM is very close to that particular location.
Right there, yeah.
And Bob, I'm happy to meet, for you to meet, Hugh Hardy, the architect.
Very happy to know you, sir.
Project.
I've followed your career a bit.
Thank you.
Now, I understand you've been associated with the BAM Theater here for quite a while.
Oh, 20 years.
20 years.
We've been a part of this building when it was forlorn and forgotten, and we've added to it. We've done everything with this building.
But what's going on right now is the biggest thing that's ever happened here, right?
Nothing like this. No one will believe when the scaffolding comes down and the candygram disappears,
Yeah.
no one's going to believe what's been accomplished.
Yeah,
No
'cause
one knew what was here.
The detailing has been gone for half a century.
Half a century, yes. But it's more than just a cornice, it's the whole top of the building.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
Well, tell us about what's happening there, because we're leaning up against pieces that are brand new replicas, right?
Well, pieces like this will crown the very top above the balustrade, and you can see what's so startling is the color.
yes.
There are lots of terracotta buildings in New York. Many have color, but there's going to be nothing like this when it's complete. Hertz and Talent, the original architects, were very much involved with the theater tradition. They built the finest theaters in New York. They built the Lyceum.
The New Amsterdam, those are the last two remaining,
Yes.
along with BAM.
And the New Amsterdam has recently been restored as well.
By us.
You guys had something to do with that. Yeah.
So that we're familiar with their work.
When you say terracotta, this, which is now replacing some of the long-lost
Yes.
terracotta, is no longer terracotta per se, right?
No, the other elements of the project are there are individual lyres that are put in the walls. There are figures down below which are indeed being restored in terracotta. But it became too complex to do this upper portion. And since you'll see it from such a distance,
Right.
we didn't need to replicate the same texture.
What's the dimension of the actual cornice that's being rebuilt?
Oh gosh, it's 25 feet of stuff. It's really quite amazing.
It's a vertical distance of about 25
Yeah,
feet.
But it also projects.
Yeah.
And you can see the steelwork here
Okay.
that's required to hold it all up.
So this is steelwork that you've had to design into the reconstruction. It wasn't originally built that
No,
way.
it had all been removed, and now, although one always says that the old ways were the best, we have put this building together better than it was originally.
Absolutely.
With better materials and better workmanship, I truly believe, than what was available with Hertz and Talent.
Sure, technology from 1908 versus technology from
Exactly.
2001.
Exactly.
That's excellent. Now, the facade itself, there are certain sections, though, that are pure restoration, not
Yes.
new work.
Yes. And that's as you move down closer to the street, it becomes more and more a texture of the original. We've had to take down whole sections and put them all back together. You can't tell.
Including an arched section that I was
Yes.
looking at earlier.
Yes.
Now, what was the story there? I was told that the columns were originally marble.
Well, they were a form of marble that should never have been used out of doors.
You mean they were man-made marble dust?
No, they were actual. It was a kind of marble that was chosen because it was so colorful, but it also was very porous, and it absorbed water and came apart, and so they have to be replicated.
Exactly. Now, let me just ask you one last question in terms of the scale of the project and the time that's involved. How long has this been going on now?
I guess, well, we've been discussing the cornice for probably a decade, and I think
Easily.
that the actual reconstruction is probably about a 2-year project.
Yes.
And I think that it's been about an $8 million renovation funded by the City of New York. This is their building, and we are the caretakers of it. And obviously, we love the building and wanted it to be restored as correctly and as beautifully as possible. Building Conservation Associates has been
Very
the sub
peppy.
working with us on
Yes.
this project, and they've done a great job. We've had a terrific team, and you can't always say that in such a complex project. And so we're really pleased the way that Hugh and the group of contractors and our
Everyone.
staff have really come together.
That's great.
Everyone loves the building, and that's been the most exciting thing.
And we're shooting here on a mid-September morn. When is the unveiling?
Well, we had hoped for November, but the rain in New York has put us off a little bit. So now I think we're talking about the first few weeks in December if these guys can get the work done.
Fabulous. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Hugh. And that's a wrap. Come home again next time. We'll be putting in some trim work in the master bedroom, some Toto fixtures in the bathroom, and a marble countertop in the kitchen. Till then, I'm Bob Vila. It's good to have you home again. Visit bobvila.com for everything you need to get the job done right. You'll find Home Again highlights, interactive tools for planning your next project, and helpful how-to articles for every room in your home. bobvila.com, the ultimate home site.